Sue Garman. I'm here again with the Quilt Show. I want to talk today about floaters. Floaters are very important when you're trying to fit borders around the center of a quilt and they don't quite fit right. How do you keep from lopping off a set of triangles when they're going around a block and they're longer than the block or shorter than the block? I'll show you how. Remember back in February when we set the blocks on point, we did a little thing that looked like this. Well, let's say that I want to add a checkerboard border that goes around this. If I tried to add this here, you can see I'm going to cut a checkerboard in half on one end and probably on all of the others too. That's fine if you want a real folk art looking quilt, but in this case I really want to make it fit right. So how am I going to do that? Well, I know that I'm going to have a gap on both sides that I have to fill in. I've made 2 short borders and 2 long ones. And the first thing I need to decide is how big do I need to make the floaters? That is, those little strips that go in there. How wide do I have to make them? Well, the easiest thing to do is I'm going to look at this and measure them. I'm going to take this measurement and this measurement, and I need half of it on each side of this. So whatever this measurement is, I'm going to cut it in half and add a 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. So if this, I'm going to make up a number here, if this were 1.5 inches, I need a 3/4 inch floater on each side, but I need to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to cut 1.25 inches. Okay, we know how wide to make those floater strips now. Let's talk about how long they need to be. The shorter ends, there's 2 short and 2 long ones, need to be the same length as the center unit. So these need to be the same length as the length of that center unit. The longer ones need to be the same length as the shorter border. So these need to be this long. And then I can sew them here. This gap will be taken up with the seam allowances and add them here. So this again is the same length as the shorter border. I'll sew those on, and then I'm ready to sew on the short border sides and then the long border sides. And when you get them all sewn, you'll have a perfect set of checkerboards going around your floater. Now that's a lot of thinking that I've just given you to do about how wide to make your floaters, how long to make your floaters. There's no checkerboard on the Stars for a New Day quilt, but there's a lot of floaters in there, and you're going to need to know how to make floaters to make your own borders fit when you're finished with them. Next month, I'm going to show you a little additional tip about making floaters, and we're going to talk about adjusting borders so that they fit. See you next month. Have a great day every day.